Yo, how's it going, YouTube? I'm back in Noville, and today I'm going to be talking about how James Harden could potentially maybe save the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, don't get me wrong, when I say save, I'm not saying like the 76ers were bad before they got Harden or anything. I'm mainly saying that maybe he can finally break the curse that they've been going through of just not being able to have a lot of playoff success like a lot of people expect them to do going into the past few seasons. And basically what I want to get into for this video is going to be pretty much like how I think James Harden being better is going to be a big thing, how James Harden could help this team and maybe make them stop suffering all these huge playoff disappointments they've suffered for the past few years, and I'm going to get through the trade, all the media backlash from the trade originally, and now into present day where he looks much better. So I'm going to be getting to all that in this video, and if that does sound interesting, please hit the like button and subscribe button and watch all the way through. But without further ado, without running on too much, let's get right into this video. So the first thing I want to get for this video is going to be just getting into really the history of the 76ers and how hard the past few years, really since like the 2018 through 19 season, has been when it comes to playoff success, as they have lost a few of the craziest ways you will ever see, especially one year in particular. Because if you go as far back as all the way to the 2018-19 year, I mean, they lost to one of the most insane buzzer beater in the playoffs of all time in the second round of the Toronto Raptors, who would go on to win the NBA Finals led by Kawhi Leonard. But if you were watching that game, you saw at the last minute Joel Embiid contest a corner three by Kawhi Leonard, and it bounces around a few times. We've all seen the picture, and it drops, and that's the end of the 76ers season. They were literally a missed shot away from going to the conference finals and maybe even making it to the NBA Finals, as the Raptors were obviously the best team in the Eastern Conference that year. So if they were able to knock them off, no telling how good they could have been. And then really after that crazy loss that they suffered right there, they really just kind of struggled and kind of just did not meet expectations in all the other playoffs after that. As in 2019, they did lose to the Boston Celtics, where they got swept in the second round. And then in 2020, they would go on to lose to the red-hot Atlanta Hawks at the time, who really were upsetting everybody, but they still lost to a team that a lot of people expected them to beat, and they lost in the second round in 7 games once again. And then last year in the playoffs, they went on and lost to the Miami Heat. And now, yes, in hindsight, the Miami Heat were a lot better than a lot of people gave them credit for, but still a ton of people had the 76ers winning that series, especially after the addition of Harden not that long before the series, but they still lost to them in the second round. Now, yes, the Miami Heat were a better team than a lot of people thought they were in the playoffs. They made it to the conference finals, went 7 games, almost made the finals once again, but they came up just short. But the 76ers were still the favorite in that series and were expected to win. Like I said, they had just traded for James Harden. They were kind of hot. They were winning a lot of games, and to get upset in the second round like that once again, a lot of people were starting to question, can the 76ers ever win the NBA Finals again? And on top of that, if you add that James Harden really didn't have a great year with the 76ers or even with the Brooklyn Nets in general, and he was kind of out of shape and a lot of people were kind of clowning him for that, there was just so many questions and negativity around this organization going into the 2022 offseason that a lot of people were very down on the 76ers. But now that we got all the playoff disappointment, let's really break down what the trade actually was. So last year, they traded for James Harden from the Brooklyn Nets, and a ton of people instantly really kind of questioned him, as he didn't get off to the best starts with the team or really to the season that year. There was tons of people questioning his character because he did not want to play in Brooklyn. He was very vocal about it, how he wanted to be traded. And then also there was tons of rumors saying he was out of shape and he looked fat. And you can't deny, if you did look at some of the pictures circling at the time, James Harden did look like he was out of shape, and he did not come into the season at his best shape he possibly could have. But something a lot of people really didn't look into or really didn't mention much when they were talking about him was that he was pretty much hurt the entire offseason and spent it all rehabbing and not really being able to work on his game due to an ACL injury he suffered 2 years ago with the Brooklyn Nets. So yes, he came in and out of shape, but it's not like he did it on purpose. He really didn't have much of a chance because he spent the vast majority of his offseason rehabbing from an injury. So yeah, you have to give him a little bit of a break for not coming in the best shape possible at the time. So I think he spent that entire season getting back in game shape and really getting with the flow of things, and then you get traded mid-season. Now you have to get used to a whole new system, and that's just a very challenging thing to do. So I think for sure, although the trade at the time kind of looked questionable, right now that James Harden finally had a full offseason to really work on his game, he's in some of the best shape of his life, and I think James Harden is looking like the old James Harden we once knew before the last year with Brooklyn and the half year with the 76ers. So I think for sure that James Harden, now that he had a full offseason for the uninjured and everything, he's used to playing with the 76ers, he got a full training camp, he is now already looking like the old Harden, like I said earlier, as in the past 2 games, he has played absolutely outstanding. Now, I know the 76ers are 0-2 right now, but they caught a very hard draw for the first 2 games. I'm pretty sure they played the Boston Celtics, and then they played another very good team as well in their first 2 games, so you really can't fault them for losing them. Now, yeah, and they competed very hard as well in both of those, but the most impressive thing, in my opinion, is despite Joel Embiid really not playing that good at all, or at least not up to Embiid's standards the first 2 games, due to how good James Harden was, he was able to keep those games competitive, which is not something you could have said about a 76ers team in the past. In the past, if Joel Embiid just simply didn't play that good, or just didn't have great games, that team was probably getting blown out. But now that you add another superstar like Harden and one of the best shooting guards in the league, now you really have an argument that Joel Embiid doesn't have to be an MVP level player every single game to give them a chance to win, and I'm sure that 76ers are going to very quickly turn around this 0-2 start, and they're going to become one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference when the year is all said and done, in large part due to how good I think James Harden can be going into the future with the 76ers. But unfortunately, guys, that's my first video. So comment below, do you agree with me? Do you think James Harden could potentially save the 76ers and maybe push them to the NBA Finals if they stay fully healthy? On your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like the video, point hit the like button, subscribe button, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I hope you have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. So you have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah, blah.